What if tonight you stopped chasing every thought that pulls you away from peace? What if, just for this moment, you could breathe without worry, rest without control, trust without fear? What if your heart could become like a field of lilies, still, radiant, untouched by anxiety, simply content to exist beneath the warmth of God's care? Take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your mind quiet. You are safe here. This space is sacred. This moment belongs only to peace. If these stories bring you calm, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your presence and words help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath, and let everything you've been carrying begin to ease. Let's begin. The air is soft in Galilee. The hills glow beneath the light of a setting sun. Golden grass sways gently in the breeze. And across the fields, wild lilies bloom, stretching quietly toward heaven. Their petals are delicate, their fragrance subtle, yet in their stillness, there is something sacred, a beauty untouched by striving, a grace that does not try to prove itself. Jesus walks among the people, his eyes kind, his voice steady. He looks at those gathered before him, fishermen, mothers, children, farmers, each one carrying their own quiet worries. He can feel the weight in their hearts, the thoughts that never stop, the fear of tomorrow's needs. And so, he turns their gaze away from their burdens, toward the field before them, toward the simple truth written in creation itself. He points and says softly, "Consider the lilies, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these." The words fall like rain upon dry ground, gentle, nourishing, still. The people listen, their eyes following his hand as it points toward the hillside. The lilies sway, glowing in the sunlight, motionless yet alive, beautiful without effort. Each flower, fragile and fleeting, yet none forgotten. Jesus lets the silence linger, the breeze moving through the fields as if nature itself were nodding in agreement. He looks back at them, and at you, across time, through every generation, and asks quietly, if God so clothes the grass, which is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? There is no rebuke in his tone, only love, only understanding. He is not calling you to try harder, but to rest deeper, to remember that you are seen, cared for, known. The lilies do not worry about tomorrow. They do not force their beauty. They simply rest where they have been planted, trusting the one who made them. And tonight, so can you. You do not need to strive to be worthy of his care. You already are. So breathe, and let his peace move through you like sunlight over petals. Soft, steady, enough. The same God who painted those hills with lilies paints your life with his love. The sun drifts lower now, stretching its last light across the hills of Galilee, and the air feels like peace itself. Warm, still, steady. The people sit upon the grass, eyes following the horizon, as Jesus continues to speak, his words moving gently like the wind through the lilies. The field before them glows with color, white and gold, violet and blue, each petal catching the light in its own quiet way, not competing, not hurrying, just being, held by the rhythm of creation. The disciples glance at the flowers, then back at him, and for the first time, they begin to see more than just beauty. They begin to see a lesson, a reflection of the Father's heart. The lilies neither toil nor spin, he said. They do not labor or worry. They simply exist, resting in the care that has already been provided. Every drop of dew, every beam of sunlight, every gentle rain that nourishes their roots, comes without effort, without striving, without fear. It is not indifference. It is trust. And in that trust, they flourish. You can almost feel that same wind brushing against your own skin now, carrying the fragrance of the lilies, the sound of distant birds calling as the day fades. The people listen, their hearts quiet, their minds still, because in this simple field, they begin to understand something greater than themselves. That peace, the kind that does not fade when the world trembles, is born from trust, not from control. Jesus looks across the field, and then back to the faces before him. He knows their burdens, the fisherman who worries if his nets will fill, the mother who wonders if her child will eat tomorrow, the farmer who fears the next drought. And he knows yours too, the unspoken thoughts that press at the edges of your peace, the hidden worries that follow you into the night. But here, in this moment, surrounded by the quiet faith of creation, those worries begin to loosen, because the same God who waters the lilies watches over you. The same hands that clothe the grass of the field clothe your heart with care. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. Even when you cannot see the plan, he is already working in the unseen places, feeding your roots, bringing light where you thought there was only shadow. The lilies do not question the sun. They simply open when it rises. And maybe that is the lesson. To open, to receive, to stop measuring tomorrow by the limits of today. You do not have to chase what God has already prepared for you. You only need to rest where you have been planted, and trust that His care is constant. Let that truth move through you like a slow breath. You are being cared for. Even now, the field stretches endlessly before you, the flowers swaying in rhythm with heaven itself. And for a moment, you feel it, the quiet, holy heartbeat of creation, reminding you that all is well, all is held, all is provided for. The evening sky turns amber, clouds brushed in pink and gold, and the lilies shimmer under the fading light. They stand gently swaying in the breeze, unaware of their own beauty, unbothered by their briefness, simply alive in the care of their Maker. Jesus continues to look upon them, and upon the people before Him, His eyes kind, His voice like the stillness of the air before twilight. Consider the lilies, He says again, not as a command, but as an invitation, an opening of the heart, a moment to see what has always been true. The lilies do not strive to be seen. They do not wonder if they are enough. They do not rush to grow taller. They bloom when the time is right. They rest when the sun sets. And in their simplicity, they reveal the depth of divine love. The world has taught you to earn peace, to chase worth, to measure your life by motion and result. But the lilies teach a gentler rhythm. To be, to breathe, to trust. Their beauty is not born of effort, but of alignment. They live in rhythm with what was already designed for them. Soil beneath, sunlight above, rain in season, and so they flourish, without fear, without striving. What if your life could feel like that? What if you stopped trying to prove your value to the world, and began to rest in the truth that your value was never in question? You were made with the same care, the same intention, the same divine thought that painted the petals of the lilies and set the stars in motion. When Jesus told them to consider the lilies, He was not asking them to admire flowers. He was asking them to remember the care of the Father, to see in creation the reflection of a love that provides, sustains, and adorns. Take a deep breath. Let it flow slowly through your chest. Each inhale reminds you, you are alive. Each exhale reminds you, you are safe. You do not need to strive to be worthy of beauty. You already are part of it. The lilies do not question their purpose. They simply unfold in the presence of light. And you, too, are unfolding in His light. Maybe the peace you seek is not something you must find, but something that blooms naturally when you stop forcing, when you stop fearing, when you simply allow yourself to be loved. The people on that hillside sit quietly now, some smiling, some weeping, all listening, as the words of Jesus settle into their hearts like seeds upon soft soil. They understand, perhaps for the first time, That peace is not something waiting beyond their troubles. It is something growing beneath them, within them, around them. The same hands that clothed the lilies in splendor clothe their lives with meaning. And if He dresses the field with such beauty for a single day, how much more will He care for you, whom He calls His own? You are loved far beyond the span of a single sunrise. You are held far beyond what your heart can comprehend. So breathe again, gently, deeply. You do not need to chase peace. Peace is already here, quietly waiting for you to notice. The air is golden now, that fragile moment between sunset and night, when everything glows softer, slower, more alive. The field stretches far and wide, the lilies swaying in quiet rhythm with the breath of the earth. Jesus stands among them, the teacher of peace, His robe brushing lightly against the grass as He walks, His eyes steady, full of compassion. The people sit silent, no longer asking, no longer arguing. Their hearts listen in ways their ears cannot, because the truth before them is simple, and yet infinite. He pauses, watching a small breeze move through the lilies, bending them, yet never breaking them. See how they move, He says softly. They do not resist the wind. They flow with it. They trust it will pass. They rise again when the stillness returns. The crowd watches, the image sinking into their hearts like sunlight through leaves. Jesus is teaching them what peace looks like, not through rules, not through striving, but through creation itself. The lilies live without fear of the storm, for they are rooted deep, fed from the unseen. And when the wind comes, they bow and wait. And so should you. You were not made to stand unbending against every gust of life. You were made to move with grace, to bend without breaking, to rest when the storm quiets, and to trust the One who made both the flower and the wind. Take a deep breath, and let that truth settle inside you. There is peace in allowing, in yielding, in trusting that what bends you does not have the power to uproot you. Every trial, every unknown, every gust of wind that shakes your faith, is not there to destroy you, but to deepen your roots. The lilies do not fight the soil that holds them. They sink into it. They let it feed them. And so they grow stronger in silence. In the same way, your soul is nourished not by what you control, but by what you surrender. The teacher looks across the faces before him, and his gaze lingers, not only on the disciples, but on you. He sees your silent prayers, the things you have not said aloud, the battles you have tried to face alone. And he says quietly, "Do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, or what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. The words drift through the air like the last rays of sunlight, resting softly upon every heart that hears them. You feel them too, wrapping gently around your thoughts, easing the tightness behind your breath. You do not need to hold everything together. You do not need to understand every why. All he asks is that you consider the lilies. Consider how they live, how they trust, how they are cared for without striving. If God tends to them in such beauty and gentleness, how much more will he tend to you, whom he loves infinitely more? Let that truth become the ground beneath you tonight. Steady, quiet, alive. The teacher's voice fades with the light, but his peace remains. It lingers in the field. It drifts in the air. It waits in your heart. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not alone. You are held by the same love that paints the lilies and commands the dawn. The sun has now slipped behind the hills. The sky glows softly, colors melting from gold into deep blue, and the lilies shimmer beneath the twilight, their petals kissed by the last warmth of day. The people linger, even as the shadows stretch long, because something in their hearts has begun to stir, something peaceful, something freeing, something they did not know they were missing. Jesus stands quietly among them, his hands clasped before him, his voice steady, gentle, calm as the air itself. He looks toward the horizon and says again, "Consider the lilies, how they grow." He does not rush. He lets the words breathe, letting silence do the teaching, letting stillness carry the truth deeper. The crowd waits, and he continues. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. The people exchange soft glances. Solomon, the king of wisdom, wealth, and splendor, robed in riches, surrounded by grandeur, and yet not dressed with the effortless beauty of a single lily born in the wild. The contrast is striking. The most powerful man in their history, and a small flower that never tries to be beautiful. And suddenly, they understand. The lilies do not chase greatness. They are not adorned by effort, but by grace. Their beauty is not earned. It is given. And so it is with you. You do not need to chase the light to shine in it. The light already seeks you, finds you, clothes you in divine care. You were not meant to spend your days spinning with worry, trying to weave your worth from fear. You were meant to stand, to breathe, to trust that you are already clothed in the beauty of God's love. The world says, do more, prove more, achieve more. But Jesus says, consider, look, see, remember that the lilies grow not through striving, but through resting where they are planted. Let that truth rest over your soul like evening air. You are planted in grace. You are watered by mercy. You are clothed by love. You do not need to perform to be cherished. You already are. The disciples listen, and their thoughts begin to slow. Their hearts begin to lift, because the truth is simple, and simplicity feels like peace. The teacher's eyes move gently across the field, the fading light brushing his face, and he smiles. You are worth more than these, he says softly. So do not let your hearts be anxious, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. The crowd grows still, their breath quiet, their worries beginning to melt into the soil beneath them. Each listener feels it, that subtle shift, the release of a burden they did not know they carried. Because when you remember who holds the world, you stop feeling the need to hold it yourself. And when you look upon creation and see how it flourishes without fear, you remember you are part of that same creation. You belong to the same love that clothes the lilies, feeds the sparrows, paints the dawn. Take a slow breath now. Feel it move through you. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are not lacking. The same God who tends to the smallest flower tends to you, carefully, constantly, lovingly. The light fades completely now, night taking its place, but peace remains like fragrance in the air. The lilies close their petals for rest, trusting the morning will come. And perhaps that is what Jesus was teaching all along. That faith is learning to close your eyes and rest in the certainty that light will return. Night has settled gently upon the hills of Galilee. The air is cool now, carrying the scent of earth and wildflowers. The crowd has grown still, listening not only to the words of Jesus, but to the silence between them. That sacred silence where peace lives. The lilies shimmer faintly under the soft silver glow of the moon, each one resting in the dark, unafraid, untouched by worry. They do not question the night. They do not wonder if the sun will rise again. They trust, completely, quietly, fully. And Jesus looks upon them, then upon the faces before him. And within that gaze, something deeper than comfort begins to bloom. An invitation. He is calling them, and you, into that same kind of trust. Not a loud trust that demands proof, but a quiet one that breathes even when answers do not come. The kind of trust that whispers, even here, even now, I am held. He tells them softly, do not be anxious, for life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. He wants them to understand that worry is not preparation. It is the opposite of peace. Worry drains what trust restores. Worry imagines what might go wrong, while faith remembers who is always right. And as he speaks, something within them, and within you, begins to shift. Maybe peace isn't something that happens when everything finally works out. Maybe it begins when you decide to rest before the outcome is known. You see, faith does its deepest work in the dark. Just as the lilies grow quietly through the night, roots stretching unseen beneath the soil, gathering strength where no one can see, so too, your spirit grows in unseen ways, in quiet hours, in silent prayers, in moments of letting go. The world may never see it, but heaven does. Every time you choose trust over fear, you grow. Every time you rest instead of panic, you bloom. Every time you breathe His name instead of chasing control, you strengthen your roots in grace. Take a slow breath now. Let your chest rise and fall. You are not alone in your waiting. You are not forgotten in your unseen seasons. You are growing quietly, beautifully, in the dark. The lilies do not rush the dawn. They do not fear the night. They trust that what is hidden now will be revealed in time. So too with you. The peace you seek will not come by force, but by surrender. Let that truth rest deep within. The same God who teaches the lilies to bloom is teaching you to trust. And if the flowers of the field can rest in His rhythm, how much more can you, His beloved? You are worth more than many lilies. You are worth the patience of heaven. And in the quiet work of trust, He is already shaping your tomorrow. So breathe again. Let the air fill you softly. There is no need to strive tonight. Your only work now is rest. The night deepens. A calm wind moves softly through the tall grass, the sound like a whispered lullaby across the hills. The lilies sway gently, their slender stems bending with grace, not in struggle, but in rhythm, moving the way peace moves, quietly, effortlessly, free. Jesus looks upon the field, then back to those gathered before Him. His voice carries low but sure, like water flowing over stone. Steady, certain, alive. Do not seek what you are to eat or drink, and do not be anxious, He says, for your Father knows what you need. The words fall through the air like drops of rain upon thirsty ground, soaking into the soil of every worried heart. He sees the furrows of their brows, the shadows of their thoughts, the quiet burdens they each carry, the farmer wondering about his harvest, the widow who fears tomorrow's bread, the parent watching the sky for signs of rain. He sees all of it. And still He smiles, not with pity, but with compassion that feels like sunlight breaking through a long clouded morning. He is telling them, and you, that worry adds nothing. It only steals the stillness meant to heal you. Every anxious thought is a weight you were never meant to hold. And so tonight, in this quiet moment, imagine setting those weights down. Each one by one. The fear of not having enough. The pressure to do everything perfectly. The uncertainty of what tomorrow may bring. The ache of things you cannot fix. Lay them gently at his feet, as if laying stones beside a still stream. You will hear no demand, no scolding, only the sound of release, the soft exhale of peace returning. Take a deep breath now, slow and real. Feel your body follow. You have carried so much for so long. But peace is not carried. It is received. You are not meant to live like clenched fists, but like open hands, ready to receive, ready to trust. And even now, he looks at you with the same tenderness he gave to that crowd. His eyes filled with understanding, with calm, with love that does not rush. If he tends to the lilies, fragile as they are, how much more will he tend to you? You who wake in the night with worry, you who love deeply, you who try so hard to make things right. He knows your heart. He knows your need. And still, he says, "Be still. I will provide." Let those words echo through your soul like a slow-moving song. Peace does not mean that all will be easy. It means you no longer have to live in fear of the unknown. The lilies trust the morning, even while standing in the dark. So too can you. Let every worry melt like frost beneath the sun. Let every thought that tightens your chest grow soft. You do not have to know what's next. You only need to know who holds it. The night has never been the enemy of the lilies. It is part of their growth, part of their quiet strength. And in the same way, your moments of uncertainty are not endings. They are invitations to rest, to breathe, to be still. You are not forgotten in the waiting. You are simply being shaped by peace. Now take another breath. Gentle, slow, and let the weight melt away. You are lighter now. You are freer now. You are loved now. The night sky above Galilee glimmers with quiet stars. Small lights scattered across the deep blue. The air hums softly with the rhythm of life, the distant song of crickets, the rustle of grass, the gentle sigh of wind that passes through the field like breath through lungs. Everything around Jesus seems alive, yet at peace. The lilies stand unmoved, shining faintly in the moonlight, still, calm, whole, as if they carry within them the heartbeat of heaven itself. The people watch and listen, but more than that, they feel, because for the first time, they are not looking at their worries. They are looking at peace, embodied in creation. Jesus sits upon a small stone. his voice low, tender, patient, like the whisper of the wind that touches both earth and sky. Your Father knows what you need before you ask, he says. So do not fear, for you are more precious than these. He gestures toward the lilies, and every eye follows. The flowers sway, bending slightly under the soft wind, not resisting, not fighting. They are completely at ease in the hands of their Maker. This is the still heart of creation. Everything lives in rhythm with trust. Every leaf, every wing, every grain of sand, resting in the order of divine care. And in that order, there is peace. For nothing that belongs to God is ever forgotten. Nothing that grows by His will ever grows alone. The disciples glance at one another, and for a moment, even their breath slows. They can feel it, that same peace moving through their own hearts. The deep truth that life was never meant to be driven by fear, but guided by faith. You can feel it too. Here. Now. In this quiet hour. Beneath the layers of thought and worry. Beneath the questions and striving. There is a still place within you. A heart that already beats in rhythm with heaven. That is where peace lives. And when Jesus said, "Consider the lilies," He was calling you back to that place, reminding you of what your soul already knows. That you were never meant to carry everything. That you were made to rest in the Father's care. Take a deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs. This is the breath He gave you. Exhale slowly. Let the weight of every anxious thought slip away, like petals carried off by the wind. You do not have to control your growth. The sunlight, the rain, or the seasons. You only need to remain rooted in His love, open to His care, willing to trust that every unseen thing He does is good. The stillness around you is not empty. It is full of Him. Every sound of night, every flicker of light, every slow movement of air, is whispering the same truth, that peace is not something you find outside yourself. It is something you remember within yourself. The world will always shout, hurry, strive, earn. But peace speaks softer, gentler. Peace says, be still. You are already enough. Let those words echo through your spirit now. You are enough. Because you are loved. You are loved. Because you are His. You are His. Because He chose you. Before you ever chose Him. And just as He watches the lilies in the field, He watches you. With tenderness. With joy. With unwavering attention. You can rest in that. The stars above shimmer brighter. The air stills again. And the night feels full. Alive. Holy. The still heart of creation beats quietly. And somewhere within that rhythm, your heart joins too. The night has become deeply still. A silver moon hangs quietly above the hills, washing the lilies in its soft light. Their petals glisten like tiny drops of peace resting upon the earth, untouched by fear, untouched by hurry. The people remain seated, eyes lifted toward Jesus, hearts open, listening for more. But his silence now is just as powerful as his words, because peace does not always speak loudly. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper, gentle, steady, true. And in that whisper comes the promise of provision. Jesus looks at the field once more, the lilies unmoving, resting, radiant, and he says softly, "If God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is alive and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith?" The words are not spoken as correction, but as comfort, a tender invitation to trust what has always been true. He is reminding them, and you, that the same God who provides for what blooms for only a season will surely care for what he made eternal. Your soul, your life, your heart. The lilies are clothed without effort. They never question if they'll have enough sunlight, enough rain, enough care. They simply exist within the rhythm of God's faithfulness. And that rhythm is still playing tonight. Even when you cannot see how tomorrow will unfold, provision is already moving toward you, quietly, like wind through tall grass, unseen, but real. You may not know the how or the when, but peace comes from remembering the who. The same God who teaches the lilies to bloom teaches your heart to trust. And perhaps that is why he asked us to consider them. Because lilies cannot plan, cannot store, cannot strive, and yet they lack nothing. Take a slow breath now. Each inhale, a quiet reminder that his care fills you even when you forget to ask. Each exhale, a soft release of every thought that says you are on your own. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are not left to figure everything out alone. Provision is already on its way, in forms you may not recognize yet. Through people, through timing, through grace that moves where your hands cannot reach. Sometimes, the peace of God does not change your circumstances right away. It changes how your heart stands within them. The lilies do not change the wind or the rain. They simply open, letting what comes, come, and trusting that both sun and storm have purpose. That is the heart of provision. The quiet knowing that even what feels uncertain is being used for your good. And as you sit in this calm, you can almost feel it, the invisible hand of God weaving unseen miracles into the fabric of your tomorrow. You do not have to earn his care. It is already yours. You do not have to understand his timing. It is already perfect. You do not have to beg for His peace. It is already given. The same hand that dresses the lilies is the hand that holds you tonight. So let go of worry. Let go of striving. Let go of every thought that tells you you must do it alone. You are being clothed in grace, wrapped in mercy, sustained by love. This is the whisper of provision. You will not be left bare. You will not be left behind. Take another deep breath, and let that truth settle in the deepest part of you. The field is quiet now. The lilies asleep beneath the moonlight, and heaven itself seems to hum a single truth over the world. You are cared for. You are covered. You are loved. The moon drifts higher, silver light spilling across the sleeping field. The lilies still and soft beneath its glow. The people gathered around Jesus sit quietly. No one dares to speak. Every word He has spoken lingers in the air like fragrance, settling deeper into their hearts with each passing breath. He looks upon them, His expression gentle, as if He can see every hidden worry, every quiet ache, every tired attempt to hold life together. And then, softly, He says, "Seek not what you shall eat, or what you shall drink, neither be of anxious mind, for your Father knows you need these things." His voice is calm, but it carries the weight of eternity. The crowd listens, and the tension in their faces begins to ease, because for the first time, they are beginning to understand what peace truly means. It is not something earned. It is something received. The lilies do not create their beauty. It is given to them, freely, quietly, faithfully, every single day. And that same faithfulness flows toward you. But receiving, that is where the heart often hesitates. It is easier to strive, to control, to fix, to prove. But grace asks for open hands. The heart that learns to receive must first learn to rest. It must trust that it is safe to stop, that it is okay to let God carry what it cannot. That is the lesson beneath the lesson. Jesus is not only asking His followers to notice the lilies. He is asking them to become like them, to stop spinning their hearts with worry, to stop chasing the illusion of control, to simply stand and allow the love of the Father to be enough. Take a deep breath now, slow and gentle. Feel it move through you, like wind through petals. Each breath is a reminder. You are sustained, even without effort. You are alive not because of what you achieve, but because of the grace that holds you every moment. The lilies do not earn sunlight. They open to it. They do not strive for rain. They receive it. And when the storm passes, they lift again, radiant as before. You too can lift again. You too can live with that same unforced grace. Let the words of Jesus echo through you like a song without end. Your Father knows what you need. You do not have to remind Him. You do not have to prove yourself worthy. You only have to trust that He already knows, and that He delights to provide. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. The strongest faith is often the softest heart. The deepest peace is often the quietest surrender. The people before Him begin to see it. Their faces relax. Their bodies still. Because they realize they do not have to carry tomorrow. The lilies will bloom again without their help. The sun will rise again without their control. And their Father, your Father, will remain faithful still. So breathe and open your heart. Let it unfold like a lily under morning light. Wide, gentle, ready to receive. This is the beauty of trust. When you stop striving to deserve love, you finally feel how freely it has always been given. The night grows deeper now, and peace rests upon the hills like a soft blanket. Even the stars seem to whisper the same truth. You are cared for. You are seen. You are safe to rest. The night is still. The stars shimmer above like silver prayers hung in the dark. The lilies lie quiet in the field, their petals folded, resting in the mystery of the night. They do not reach for the sun. They do not question when light will return. They simply wait, held by the rhythm of trust. The crowd around Jesus has grown silent. His words have taken root in their hearts. Peace now hangs over them like the night sky. Wide, calm, infinite. He looks at them with eyes that see beyond their faces, beyond their worries, beyond time itself. He sees the part of every human heart that resists surrender, the part that tries to hold too much, plan too much, protect too much, and yet still longs for peace. And in that moment, He speaks softly. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has chosen gladly to give you the kingdom. The words fall like light across the field. Do not be afraid. This is the turning point, the place where peace becomes trust, and trust becomes surrender. The lilies have no fear because they have no illusion of control. They do not worry about their next season. They do not compare their petals or count their days. They live as they are, where they are, trusting that all they need will come. And that is what He invites you into tonight. The surrender that brings rest. You do not surrender because you are weak. You surrender because you are loved. Because peace cannot live in clenched hands. It only blooms in open ones. So take a slow breath, and imagine your hands opening, palms upward, empty, unguarded, free. Every thought you have tried to control, every fear you have carried alone, every what if that has kept you from rest, release it now. Let them fall like petals to the ground. and watch as peace grows in their place. This is the beauty of surrender. It is not loss. It is exchange. You give him your fear, and he gives you his peace. You give him your striving, and he gives you his rest. You give him your uncertainty, and he gives you his promise. He says again, your Father has chosen gladly to give you the kingdom. Gladly, not reluctantly, not hesitantly, but with joy. You are not a burden to his love. You are the joy of his heart. If he delights to clothe the lilies, how much more does he delight to care for you? Let that truth settle deep into the soil of your soul. The world will always ask you to earn what was already given. But heaven asks only this, that you trust, that you rest, that you remember. You are not meant to live in constant striving. You are meant to live in constant grace. Look again toward the lilies in your mind. Their stillness, their quiet, their trust. They surrender every moment. And yet, they lose nothing. The same will be true for you. For every time you surrender, you make more room for peace to dwell. The night hums softly now, creation itself breathing in rhythm with heaven. And Jesus' eyes lift toward the sky, as if listening to something beyond sound. And for a moment, everyone understands, this peace is not of the world. It is of eternity. Take another breath. Slow and tender. You are safe to let go. You are safe to rest. Peace is not leaving you. It is becoming you. The night holds its breath. The stars hang motionless above the hills. The soft rustle of the grass fades until even the smallest sound feels sacred. The lilies rest in the dark, their roots deep in the soil, their petals folded in silence, and all of creation seems to join them in quiet worship. The people around Jesus feel it too. The peace that does not shout, the calm that speaks without words, the presence that fills every space. He looks at them, tired eyes, worn hearts, hands that have labored for years, and he smiles gently, as if to say, you can rest now. It is safe to let go. No one speaks. No one moves. And then, softly, he begins to pray. Not in a voice that reaches the heavens, but in one that draws heaven close. The prayer is not a list of needs, or a request for signs. It is stillness itself, communion between the Son and the Father. You cannot hear every word, but you feel it. The peace that flows from that connection. The peace that needs no explanation. In that silence, you begin to sense the truth, that prayer is not something you perform. It is something you allow. Prayer begins where words end. It begins when you stop trying to speak, and start simply being with him. The lilies pray without sound. The wind prays as it moves through the grass. The stars pray in their quiet shining. And tonight, Your stillness is its own kind of prayer. Take a deep breath, and let your breathing become your worship. Each inhale, a whisper of thank you. Each exhale, a sigh of I trust you. You do not have to find the perfect words. The one who made you already understands what your silence means. Jesus' prayer that night was not for himself, but for all who would one day sit in moments like this, with hearts full of worry, minds full of noise, and souls longing for peace. He prayed that you would know that you are never alone, that the Father's care is not fragile, that his peace is not fleeting, and even now, that prayer is alive, echoing across centuries, resting softly over you tonight. When you are too tired to pray, peace prays for you. When you cannot speak, love still hears you. When you do not know how to rest, grace teaches your soul how. Let that be your prayer tonight, not in words, but in stillness. The stillness of trust. The stillness of being held. The stillness that exists when nothing more is needed. Close your eyes, and let the quiet draw near. Feel his presence around you like warm air, gentle and close. You are safe. You are known. You are heard. Every breath you take becomes prayer. Every heartbeat becomes worship. Every still moment becomes peace. The disciples sit in silence, the field around them shimmering with moonlight. And in that holy quiet, heaven feels very near. This is what Jesus wanted for them, and for you. Not a faith built on fear, but on rest. Not a prayer built on words, but on presence. So breathe again. Slowly, completely. Let stillness become your offering. Let peace become your prayer. Let his love fill the quiet until there is nothing left but calm. You are in his presence, and that is enough. The night feels endless now, deep and serene, like the whole world is exhaling together. The lilies sleep beneath the soft silver of the moon, their petals closed, their beauty hidden for a time, but not gone, only resting, waiting, certain that the morning will come. Jesus stands among his people, his eyes reflecting the light of the stars. There is a stillness around him that is unlike any other, the kind of peace that does not need to be spoken, because it simply is. He looks upon those gathered, the fishermen, the mothers, the wanderers, the seekers, and within each heart, he sees the same longing, the same quiet question. Will you stay with us? It is the question every heart carries, even yours, especially in the nights when silence feels heavy, when prayers feel unanswered, when God feels far. And though he does not say the words aloud, his gaze answers softly. I never leave. I never have. I never will. You can feel that truth even now. though you cannot see him with your eyes. His presence lingers, gentle, steady, like air itself, always near, always enough. You do not have to chase him, or reach high to touch him, because he is not distant. He is here, in the quiet between your breaths, in the soft rhythm of your heartbeat, in the peace that has slowly begun to settle over you tonight. That is his way, to be close without demand, to comfort without words, to stay without announcement. When he spoke of the lilies, he was never just talking about flowers. He was reminding us of this truth, that the same God who fills the earth with beauty fills your life with his presence, whether you notice it or not. The lilies never wonder if he has left them. They simply live in what is. And that is enough. You too can rest in that. Every moment of your life is covered by a presence that never sleeps, never forgets, never withdraws its care. The world may change, people may come and go, but his love remains, constant as the breath within you, faithful as the dawn that always returns. He is not beside you only in peace. He is beside you in pain. He is not near only in joy. He is near in sorrow too. When your heart trembles, he is the steadying calm. When your mind races, he is the quiet beneath the noise. When your tears fall, he is the hand that catches each one. You are never alone in the field of your life. Even when you cannot see him, he is the light that holds back the dark. Even when you cannot hear him, he is the silence that soothes the noise. Even when you cannot feel him, he is the stillness that carries you anyway. This is the mystery of his peace. It does not depend on your awareness. It simply exists, faithfully, perfectly, unendingly. The disciples could not yet understand it, that he would one day leave their sight, but not their side, that though the world would change, his spirit would remain. But you can understand it now, because his presence is here, with you, in this very breath, in this very night. Let that truth hold you like soft hands around your heart. You do not need to ask him to come closer. He already is. You only need to become quiet enough to notice. And as you do, you will find what they found on that sacred night long ago. That peace is not the absence of anything. It is the presence of someone. And he has never left. The night drifts deeper into stillness. The stars shimmer like silver lanterns hung across eternity, and the lilies rest untouched beneath their quiet glow. They do not hold on to the sunlight that has passed. They do not resist the darkness that surrounds them. They simply release, and trust that light will come again. Jesus stands before the crowd. His words now slow, gentle, measured, like a heartbeat that knows peace. Do not set your heart on what you will eat or drink, he says softly. For the nations of the world run after such things. but your Father knows that you need them. The people listen, and something in their hearts begins to untangle. The tightness of worry loosens. The noise of need grows quiet, because His voice carries a truth that feels like freedom. You were never meant to chase what is already being provided. You were never meant to live clenched in fear of what might come. You were meant to live open, trusting, resting, just as the lilies do. The lilies never hold on to yesterday's rain. They never cling to the last light of day. They release and wait, because they know what is needed will return in its time. And that is what He asks of you tonight. To release. To stop gripping the things that exhaust you. The control that never truly belonged to you. The outcomes you cannot shape. The fears you cannot fix. Take a slow, deep breath, and imagine every worry that lives in you as threads. Threads that have wound tightly around your spirit. Pulling, pressing, making it hard to breathe. Now, as you exhale, feel those threads loosen. Feel them fall away. You do not have to untangle them all at once. You only have to begin letting them go. Each breath you release becomes a quiet surrender. Each pause becomes a prayer without words. The peace of God does not ask you to have less responsibility. It simply invites you to carry it differently. To carry it with Him. The lilies cannot control their growth. Yet they grow. They cannot hold the sun. Yet they bloom. They cannot summon the rain. Yet they are nourished. Their strength is in their stillness. Your strength is the same. It takes great courage to rest in what you cannot control, to trust in what you cannot see. But that courage is where faith lives. And faith is where peace begins. Jesus looks at the crowd again, and at you, and He smiles with quiet assurance. If your Father clothes the grass that is here today and gone tomorrow, will He not much more clothe you, O you of little faith? The question is not meant to shame, but to free. He is not pointing to your weakness. He is pointing to your worth. You are worth more than lilies, more than grass, more than gold. You are worth the patience of heaven, the attention of eternity, the love of God that never ceases. And when you let go, you make room for that love to breathe through your life. So rest now, not because everything is perfect, but because everything is held. The lilies sleep without fear. The field breathes in quiet unity. The world turns beneath the watchful eye of its Creator. And so can you. Close your eyes and release what you cannot carry. Release what you cannot change. Release what was never yours to hold. The one who paints the dawn and clothes the lilies is already at work. Even now, you are safe to rest. You are safe to breathe. You are safe to let go. The night has reached its calmest hour. The moon hangs high above the fields. and the lilies glimmer like pale stars scattered across the earth. Each one stands content, silent, still. They do not reach for more light than what they are given. They do not hunger for what the soil cannot provide. They live in the blessing of enough. Jesus watches them, and the crowd that sits before him. His voice carries softly through the cool air. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. The words flow like a river through the silence. Gentle, steady, clear. He is telling them that peace is not found in the abundance of things, but in the awareness of God's presence. The lilies are proof. They own nothing, yet they lack nothing. They do not store. They do not strive. And still, they are clothed in beauty, because their life, their very being, is rooted in trust. The same trust that waits for morning without fear. The same trust that blooms after rain and storm. The same trust that rests quietly, even when unseen. And that is what he desires for you. That you would learn the quiet joy of enough. Enough light for this day. Enough grace for this moment. Enough peace for this breath. The world will always tell you that you need more. More success. More comfort. More certainty. More control. But the kingdom he speaks of moves differently. It begins in stillness. It grows in gratitude. It thrives in surrender. When your heart learns to be content in his care, everything changes. The noise fades. The striving softens. And you begin to see beauty in simplicity. Because peace does not come when you have everything. It comes when you realize you already do. Take a slow breath now, and let it sink in. You have enough light for this step. You have enough strength for this night. You have enough love surrounding you, even if unseen, to rest safely. The lilies do not question tomorrow's weather. They rest in today's provision. And that is enough. And you, child of God, can do the same. Every need you have has already been seen. Every prayer you've whispered has already been heard. Every tear that has fallen has already been held. Your Father knows. He knows what you need before you ask. He knows what your heart longs for before you find the words. And he is already working all things together. Perfectly. Patiently. Even the waiting. Even the quiet. Is holy. It is the soil where faith grows. And so, beneath the night sky, as the field sleeps and the stars hum softly above, you are invited to rest, not in what you lack, but in what you have. Peace is here. Provision is here. God is here. Let that awareness fill you like the air fills your lungs. You do not need to chase what is already yours. You do not need to fear what has already been promised. You only need to rest and receive the blessing of enough. For tonight, This moment, this breath, is sufficient, and tomorrow will bring what tomorrow needs, just as the lilies bloom when their time arrives. You too will flourish in the rhythm of His perfect care. The night has grown utterly still. Even the wind has quieted its voice. The lilies stand unmoving under the silver moonlight, their beauty resting, their work complete. Every petal, every stem, glows softly as if peace itself has taken form in them. The crowd around Jesus sits in silence, not because they have no questions left, but because their questions have found peace before answers arrived. This is the holy stillness that follows trust. It is the quiet that comes when striving ends. It is the breath that comes when the soul finally releases its grip. It is the calm that arrives when you remember, God is here, and that is enough. The lilies are not anxious for dawn. They simply rest within the rhythm of creation. Their roots cling to the soil, not out of fear, but out of faith. They are sustained in the dark, fed in the unseen, nurtured while the world sleeps. And you, too, are being nourished even now, in ways you cannot see. The peace of God does not wait for the light to appear. It meets you in the dark. It covers you before morning comes. Jesus looks upon those before Him, His eyes kind, knowing, filled with love that cannot be measured, and He lets silence linger between them, because sometimes silence speaks what words cannot. The people feel it, that something sacred has shifted inside them. Their hearts have slowed. Their breaths have deepened. Their thoughts have grown soft. You can feel it too. Take a deep breath. And as you do, imagine yourself sitting among them, under the same quiet sky, surrounded by lilies and peace. You are no longer worrying about what is next. You are simply here, fully present in this moment, in this breath, in this calm. The air is cool. The night smells of earth and grace. And somewhere within the silence, you sense the heartbeat of heaven. Steady, patient, close. This is what stillness feels like, not emptiness, but fullness. The quiet fullness of being held. You are being held. Right now. Not by your strength. Not by your understanding, but by love itself. And love never lets go. The lilies do not resist their rest. They close their petals in trust, knowing that the same sun that warmed them today will rise again tomorrow. You can rest in that same assurance. You can release your grip on what hasn't yet come, because the one who writes the sunrise already holds your tomorrow. The night may feel long, but peace moves quietly through every moment, like unseen roots spreading deeper into the soil of faith. Your spirit is being renewed. Your heart is being softened. Your trust is being deepened. The silence around you is not absence. It is presence. God is not far. He is here, moving gently, patiently, like a breath through the leaves, like light beneath the surface. So let go and descend into this stillness. You have nothing to prove, nothing to fix, nothing to earn. You are enough, because He is enough. Let that truth wash over you like soft rain. Let it fill every weary corner of your heart, until all that remains is peace. This is the rest that faith brings. This is the stillness that trust allows. This is the love that never leaves. The night is deep, and yet it feels alive. Every breath of wind moves with purpose. Every sound of night hums in rhythm with creation. The lilies stand still beneath the moon, their soft shapes glowing like small lanterns in the darkness. Every petal open in surrender, every stem resting in quiet strength. This is the rhythm of peace. A peace that does not rush. A peace that does not demand. A peace that simply is. Jesus sits among the people now, his robe brushed by the cool air, his eyes lifted toward the heavens that stretch endlessly above. He does not need to speak, because his presence speaks enough. The crowd has grown quiet. Their hearts have found what they came searching for. Not answers, not miracles, but peace. And that peace moves through them, like the slow rise and fall of their breathing. It moves through you too, right now. If you listen closely, there is a rhythm beneath everything, beneath your thoughts, beneath your heartbeat, beneath your worries. It is the rhythm of His peace, constant, unbroken, faithful. The world around you moves in chaos, but this peace moves in stillness. The lilies know it. They live in it. They grow by it. Never hurried, never anxious, simply alive within His care. And tonight, that same rhythm invites you in. Take a deep breath, slow and steady. Feel the air move through you like a tide, coming and going. Each inhale whispers, He provides. Each exhale whispers, I will rest. You are part of that same divine rhythm, the heartbeat of heaven echoing softly through your being. When you align with that rhythm, worry loses its grip, fear begins to fade, and peace becomes not something you feel, but something you are. The disciples glance toward the lilies again, and suddenly, the world seems different, softer, kinder, smaller somehow, because they see now what they had missed before, that everything living, everything breathing, everything moving in this vast creation, does so within the hands of a faithful God. And if He sustains all of it, will He not sustain you? Your life is part of His song. When you rush, The rhythm breaks. When you rest, the melody returns. You do not need to create peace. You need only return to it. The peace of God was never lost, only forgotten beneath layers of striving and noise. But here, beneath this moon, in this quiet hour, it returns to you, softly, fully, gently. Peace moves through your chest like light through glass, calm and clean, filling the places where tension once lived. This is what he wanted you to know all along. That peace was never about circumstance. It was about connection. Connection to the one who feeds the sparrows, clothes the lilies, and calls you beloved. You are part of that same care, part of that same rhythm. Even when you are tired, he sustains you. Even when you are uncertain, he guides you. Even when you are silent, he sings over you. So breathe again. Breathe in his care. Breathe out your worry. You are safe here. You are loved here. You are held here. The rhythm of his peace moves through all creation. And tonight, it moves through you too. Let your breath match it. Let your heart rest in it. Let your thoughts grow still within it. You are in harmony with heaven. The night is soft now, darker at the edges, lighter at the heart. The stars shimmer like quiet promises, and the lilies glisten with dew, tiny drops of heaven resting upon their petals. They stand in silence, perfectly content to be. The crowd has quieted completely, their breathing slow, their hearts still. Around them, the air feels thick with peace, as though the presence of God himself has settled over the field. Jesus looks toward the horizon, a thin silver line hinting that dawn will come soon. And his voice, when he finally speaks, is little more than a whisper. Do not fear, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. The words float like music through the dark, wrapping gently around every weary soul, every anxious thought. Do not fear. Those two words hold the power to quiet storms, to steady trembling hearts, to remind the soul that even in the darkest hour, it is held beneath his wings. You can almost feel it now. That invisible covering, that holy shelter, like being wrapped in light that neither burns nor fades. This is what rest truly means. Not the absence of movement, but the presence of protection. The lilies rest not because the night is without danger, but because they are certain of their keeper. And so can you. The peace of God does not promise a life free of storms. It promises a heart untouched by them. Take a slow breath, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Feel the air move softly through your chest, each breath like a feather against your soul. This is the peace that remains, even when life changes, even when you do not have answers. You are not forgotten in the dark. You are hidden in His care. You are under the same wings that shelter the lilies. You are covered by the same love that holds the stars in place. You do not need to strive for safety. You are already safe. You do not need to earn rest. It is already offered. Let your heart fall into that knowing. The gentle surrender that comes when you realize there is nothing more to do. He is watching. He is holding. He is keeping. The people begin to close their eyes. The sound of the night wrapping around them like a soft blanket. You close yours too. The world grows dim behind your eyelids. But within, light still lives, steady and golden. You can feel His presence there, not heavy, not distant, but near, gentle, surrounding you with warmth that seeps deep into your spirit. Even your breath begins to slow. Even your thoughts begin to fade into stillness. This is not sleep yet. It is sacred rest. The kind that renews the soul before the body rests. The lilies glisten quietly nearby, their roots drinking deeply of the dew that God has laid before them. Their stillness is worship. Their rest is faith. And your rest tonight is faith too, because every breath you take in peace is a declaration of trust. Every moment of stillness is a whisper that says, I know you are here. Do not fear. You are beneath His wings, and nothing can reach you there. The field hums with a peace beyond understanding, and even the night itself seems to bow before it. The Lord is near. The world is safe in His hands. And you, beloved soul, can finally rest. The horizon begins to soften now, the edge of night paling into quiet gold. The first light of morning touches the tips of the lilies, and each one opens, slow, graceful, sure, as though heaven itself is waking them with a whisper. The world that had slept in silence begins to stir, but the peace of the night still lingers in the air. The people blink at the first signs of dawn, their hearts light, their worries distant. They have not only heard His words, they have felt them, and something deep within them has changed. They came with questions, with fears, with hearts heavy from striving. But now, they carry peace, because peace has shown them something the world cannot give, that even in stillness, they are cared for. Jesus watches them with quiet joy, the kind of joy that knows what love has accomplished. He looks upon the lilies bathed in morning light, and smiles. The beauty before Him is not grand or loud, but gentle, simple, full of meaning. Each flower is a sermon in silence, each petal a hymn of trust. And as the people look too, they begin to see what He sees. The lilies are not trying. They are receiving. They are not striving. They are shining. They are not clinging. They are blooming. And suddenly, Gratitude begins to fill the air like fragrance. It starts softly. A warmth in the chest. A sigh of relief. The tender awareness that they have everything they truly need. And you, too, can feel it. Gratitude rising like the dawn inside your spirit, reminding you that this peace, this rest, this stillness is a gift. You did not earn it. You simply opened your heart to receive it. That is the way of grace. Every sunrise is a reminder that God's mercy renews itself with the light. Every breath you take is proof that He still provides. Every quiet moment of peace is evidence that He has not forgotten you. Take a deep breath and let gratitude flow through you like sunlight across the field. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this calm. Thank you for the care I cannot see but still trust. Gratitude turns peace into worship. It changes the focus from what you lack to who holds your life together. The disciples smile as light spills across their faces. The night has ended, but the peace remains. That is what true peace does. It does not fade with the morning. It awakens with it. It becomes a quiet strength that walks beside you through every day. It becomes a gentle reminder that worry cannot live where trust has taken root. It becomes the song beneath your thoughts, the whisper behind your steps. And as the sun climbs higher, the lilies shimmer brighter. The field glows. The world feels new again. Gratitude has turned the moment holy. For where there is gratitude, there is faith. And where there is faith, there is peace. So as you rest in this morning light, let your soul breathe one final truth, that the God who paints the lilies paints your life with the same care, the same detail, the same grace. You are seen. You are loved. You are sustained. Let that gratitude settle into your soul like light warming the ground. The night has passed, but peace has not left. It has simply changed form, from rest to renewal. The sun rises fully now, spilling gold across the hills of Galilee. The world awakens in color and quiet splendor. The lilies open wide, their petals glistening with the dew of a night well kept. Every drop of water catches the light like a tiny promise. Every flower stands radiant, unhurried, unafraid, perfectly content in the rhythm of God's care. The people begin to rise too, slowly, reverently, their faces warmed by the morning, their hearts lighter than they have been in years. The words of Jesus echo softly within them, "Consider the lilies. They neither toil nor spin." Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. They finally understand. It was never about the lilies alone. It was about the love that sustains them, the invisible hands that guide their growth, the quiet presence that clothes them in beauty without their asking. And that same love, those same hands, now rest upon you. The peace of this story does not belong only to the fields of Galilee. It belongs to every heart that dares to trust, every soul that learns to rest, every life that chooses to bloom where it has been planted. The lilies will fade in time. Their petals will fall. Yet their lesson remains: to live in peace, to trust in care, to bloom in grace. And though seasons change, and life shifts like the wind, the love of God remains, steadfast, unchanging, eternal. That is the bloom that never dies. Take a slow breath now, and feel the warmth of the light across your skin. The light that touched them long ago. The same light that still touches you now. You are standing in that same peace. The peace that Jesus spoke over the hillside. The peace that reached through the centuries to find your soul tonight. Let it cover you like morning light. Gentle, complete, alive. You do not need to chase it. It already lives in you. You do not need to protect it. It was given to you by a love that cannot fail. You only need to remember and rest. Peace is not fragile. It is not fleeting. It is the nature of God Himself. And you are held within it. Always. As the lilies bloom again with every sunrise, so too will your faith. As the earth awakens each day to the sound of life, so too will your heart awaken to gratitude. And when you close your eyes again tonight, may you remember this moment, this quiet field, this gentle teacher, and the truth that has followed you through every breath of this story. You are seen. You are loved. You are provided for. Your life is clothed in grace. Your soul is rooted in peace. Your heart is safe in His hands. So rest now, in the eternal bloom of His care. For even when the night returns, the lilies will rest again. And so will you. Because peace, true peace, never ends. It only changes form. And when you breathe tonight, or tomorrow, or in every quiet moment to come, may your soul always hear this whisper: consider the lilies. And remember, I am with you, always. Good night, and may His peace, eternal and unbroken, remain with you forever.